everybody, and welcome back to my channel. And I hope everybody is doing well today. I wanted to talk to you today about some issues that may affect you, and I know they are concerns that we all have. It's about our budgeting and retirement and, things to do, and what we think is the best thing to do often turns out to be not. And if you think you're safe because you're living mortgage free, no. I'll give you the scenario of my sister and I. My sister lives in the States, and she's lived in her house for almost 30 years. And of course, you have a mortgage and whatever. And I sold my house years ago, and in the States, and I have been I move a lot, because not married, don't have any encumbrances, so you move around a lot. So there, I don't own anything there anymore. And you think, oh, you have no security. Well, no, My sister and I were chatting this past weekend, and she, her water heater broke, because she's lived in her house for over 30 years, and her house is older than that because, when she bought it, it was already old. So, she's been paying on this house for, all this time. She's had her mortgage and what have you. And now, the house is old, and it's like, we're old. I've had my knees replaced, my hips replaced, bits removed, all sorts of things. And your house is old too, so it's breaking down as well. So even though you're living mortgage free, you still have to have, a deep pot of money to fix it, because stuff goes wrong. So her water heater, conked out last week, and she had to get a new water heater. So that was like $5,000 for a new water heater. Last year, she had to paint because all the paint was peeling off her ceiling. Another $5,000. And then she came home one day. Her garage door wouldn't go all the way up and wouldn't go all the way down, just stuck in the middle. And come to find out, it was the electrical cables that were going under the ground to the house, connecting to the house. That all had to be replaced. And then the board thing wasn't upgraded and up to snuff or whatever, so that all had to be done. I think that was about $6,000 she had to pay for that. The guy came to service her boiler and said, you need a new boiler. $10,000. So you live in mortgage free. And every time you come home, now with my sister, she lives in a place where it snows. So in order for her to have someone come and shovel her driveway, she has to sign up for them to come in the summertime to cut the grass, which, is a bit of a blessing too. But this is all stuff that you have to pay out. Now, they come and they cut the grass, and that's a set fee for whatever. And then, but the snow thing is, if they have to come out like every day, there's an extra charge for this. But you can't get the service without signing up for this summer thing, which is understandable. They're trying to keep the business going. So, she has to pay out for this service for them to come and clear the driveway and everything. So, and then cut the grass. And then, of course, she's got trees on her property, which have to be maintained because your trees are over the power lines, which whatever. So $1,500 to have that done, and this tree's got to come down. That's another couple of thousand or whatever. So you live mortgage free, but how free is that mortgage free? And also, you've got the roof. Every time she drives up her driveway, she has to look at the roof and think, oh God, those tiles will look a bit iffy. and I'm coming up to the lifetime warranty of the thing was like 20 years or something, and that's almost up. So all of this stuff is money that you have to find. So is mortgage free really the best option? Now after I sold my house, I always lived in like condominiums, which in the States, I don't know what they call them here in England, what a condominium is called, but in a condominium is, you own your apartment in the building, but you're a part of the group for the whole building. So I am not sure what that's called in England. I haven't bought one over here, so I don't know. But you pay a monthly fee for your homeowners association fees, which covers the outside of the building and the upkeep of the grounds and, insurance and, whatever's included in it in your particular, condominium. So those fees, but you don't have to worry about it. The roof comes off of that. You wake up in the morning and the roof is laying in the front yard. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to find that 50 grand to fix the roof, because the homeowners association fixes it. If there's an addition that you have to share out if they don't have enough money in the pot, and you have to, pay out a little bit extra, then you're sent a notice saying, your portion of this fee is that. But those situations are usually rare because, you're paying in every month, and as long as you get somebody that's reputable that's handling that, then the money is in the pot and things are paid for. But you don't have to worry about the exterior of your building, the maintenance and upkeep of that portion of it. So this is a much better option for when you're our age, because you're trouble free. You move into someplace and all you have to worry about is decorating the inside of your living accommodation. And it is a better option. And I know a lot of people have lived in their houses for a long time, and selling it and moving is really, it's hard and they don't want to do it. But if you're living in something that really is not suitable for your age and your health conditions or your whatever, it's not going to get better over time the longer you stay there. It's going to get worse, and in some scenarios, it's going to become really bad. And if the maintenance, because, like for me here in England, in this tiny house, I live in a tiny house in England, because I'm not allowed to go back to America. Thank you, Donald Trump. But, this is easy to maintain because it is a tiny house. But if you're living in, like my sister has a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's on a couple of stories. She's got bad knees now, going up and down the stairs. It's really difficult for her. So, it's not the ideal situation for her. That house is obviously not suitable, for her current condition, and her condition is not going to get any better. So, if you're in that situation, is your situation going to get any better? No, it's not. So, you should sell now while you have the opportunity to do it, and downsize to something that's appropriate to your age and your condition and your possible further deteriorated condition now before it's too late, and it's something that you really need to take into consideration. And where you buy, like my sister was very interested in having a tiny house, not a bad scenario, but she wants it out in the middle of the boonies. Okay, that's fine. You want to live away from somebody and everything, but be practical about it. Is this going to be something that is going to work for you? I mean, a recent scenario for me is I had cataracts. And I had really bad cataracts. And they were on the borderline of them giving me a thing saying I wasn't allowed to drive. Now, I live alone. And if they're going to tell me I can't drive, and I live in a tiny house out in the middle of the boonies, how do you go shopping? How do you go to your appointments? How do you do anything if you live alone and you're not allowed to drive? Is it a good idea to live out in the boons? No, it isn't. Okay, my sister is like coming around to the whole idea of, yeah, maybe this is not a good idea. But, if you live alone, you have to be practical about it. And in the States, they have a lot of places that are really, really great. They're over 55 communities. So, you don't have to take care of the outside of your house. You take care of the inside. You pay your fees and whatever. but you're in a community. So if you are in a scenario like I was, where they're going to snatch your driver's license away from you, at least, Uber will come to you there. And you also have neighbors, and the community also has, like, resources for people. Here in England, they do have communities similar to that. To my knowledge, I haven't, tried to buy anything in one of them, but I mean, I live in a village here, and they do offer services where, if you sign up to it, people will come and get, take you somewhere, for a small fee. And they also do have taxi service that'll come and take you somewhere. So, you have resources. But if you live out in the middle of nowhere, you could wait forever to have somebody come and help you. So, and it's not an ideal situation. And where are you going to have neighbors or friends? I mean, here, I'm very, very lucky that I have really, really good neighbors and good friends. So, if I need to go somewhere, if they're here, hello, Terry and Jackie in Spain, they will come and help. But, I know if you want to live out in the middle of nowhere, it's not practical at our age. It's just not the ideal situation. But these are sort of things that you need to think about when you're getting older. And if nobody else will help you with that, then you need to really, really seriously consider what the worst case scenario could be down the road. And down the road, it is having a house that is too big for you and not suitable for your declining years. Once you get to that ultimate decline, you could be living in a bad situation. So yeah, think about it seriously, because it is a major concern for a lot of us that you live in something that's suitable for your age and for your declining years. It's nice that you say that you want something that, if I need live-in help, I've got somewhere for them to live. But yeah, no, a 3-story house with your laundry in the basement and your bedroom on the top floor, and you have to get around with a stick, and you have a cat that you could fall over. Yeah, no. That's a recipe for sheer certain death. So yeah, no. Think about it. Think about it seriously and do it before it's too late. But I thank you for tuning in today, and I hope I wasn't preaching too much. And don't forget to subscribe and see. And I'll see you tomorrow.